What's up, and welcome back to Opposites Attract Podcast. This is Sonja Ramirez, your girl, and I'm sitting next to
Miguel Ramirez.
What's up, everybody? How is your day?
How is your week?
How is your life?
Going.
Woo!
Make
Miguel's
sure you guys go
trained.
to oppositesattractpodcast.com. Share it with the people that you know. When you guys go there, you'll be able to see our social media there. You guys can watch the podcast there. You can listen to it there. You can also see ways that you can support the show by clicking on the support the show tab and buying through Amazon and Trust Inc., which is our notary company and all that. And we'll talk a lot more about that later. But what's up, babe? How you doing?
I'm doing great. Hey, before we get started, I wanted to give a couple of shout outs. I know you have a shout out, but you know, Tracy, is it Richard or Rickard? No, Tracy Rickard. She sent us a message on Facebook. Yeah. And she was just sharing with us how she, you know, enjoys our podcast. And I was like, I don't know her personally, so I wonder if you do. And found out that she was just, you know, someone who is cruising on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, Amazon Podcast, Amazon Prime.
For a relationship podcast. It came upon ours, and she said, "Thank you guys for being so real."
Oh, thank you.
And I love that because, you know, we do get into some topics and we don't try to sugarcoat, you know, anything that's going on. And so, you know, we appreciate you and, you know.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for listening.
That's very cool.
And welcome to the family, to the show, to the community.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, awesome. And Amazon Prime, that's so crazy. Like just to think that somebody just found us searching for podcasts. Yeah. But also, I mean, now that you're talking about it, wherever you guys are listening to this, it really helps out if you leave us a review, a comment, a like, subscribe, all that stuff. We've done so many podcasts, and we're finally, after almost 200 episodes, getting in the routine of doing that. But thank you guys for all your
sharing.
support.
Like I've been thinking about that a lot. Like we have a lot of friends who own businesses and, you know, and have podcasts or, you know, talk shows, like, and it's so important that you help, that we help. Yeah, we help and we support each other with, you know, just with everything. And I think that if we were all to do that, we would all have success. Yeah. You know.
So thank you. And thank you for all of you that support us.
Appreciate it.
So what's up, babe? We also had another, Ian and Kelly from Superstition. Well, they're our friends. But they have superstitionspices.com. You guys can check them out. And I've been actually using Ian Spices and putting it on a bunch of stuff.
No, they're good.
So when I don't really want something super spicy, I use the Nothing Wild. And then recently I used this habanero heat on some eggs. And what happened, let me tell you, because this was funny.
Yes.
So what happened with this stuff is we're sitting together having breakfast. I think Audrey was out of town, right? So it was just the three of us, me, you, and Joey. And as soon as I popped this thing open, like I just sneezed. Yes. And I'm like, what the heck? You know? And like my nose started tickling and I just sneezed. And then, so I put some on the eggs, and then I was just kind of looking at it, and I was like, I bet you this would make like one of those really, just to make you sneeze. Like you could just sniff it and it'll make you sneeze.
Yes.
So I was like, let me see. I told Joey, I was like, let's see. I don't know if it was like
we were thinking of starting a challenge. That's what it was. Like, I'm like, this would be a good TikTok challenge.
Yeah, like a TikTok challenge. Right. So what I did was like, I started shaking it up and getting it all dusty.
Yes.
And then I stand it up straight. And we popped it open. And Joey, I told him to put it up to his nose and then to sniff it and see if it'll sneeze. But what I meant to say was like to squeeze the little container to get the dust to come up and then sniff it. So he kind of did it a little bit. And he's like, oh. Like
no, he was holding it in.
Yeah.
He was holding it in.
And I was like, okay, now I'm going to do it. And I tried it, but I did it for real.
Yes.
So I had my nose like right up to it. And I freaking squeezed it and sniffed, and I started sneezing like crazy. My freaking face was burning.
I should have recorded
my
it.
God.
It was hilarious.
But the flavor is awesome.
Yes.
So check them out.
If you want a little spice in your life, there you go.
We gotta do that. Make a TikTok challenge,
right?
With that, that'd be hilarious.
Yes, and then last week it was our anniversary.
And Ian and Kelly, they bought us a shot.
Yeah, so thank you guys.
Buy us a coffee.
Yes, and we're going to use that actually today.
Yeah,
we're going to go out. Have a hot date with my boyfriend, Michael.
Ooh.
Ooh, you like that?
Yeah.
You like that? Ooh.
Bring back the old me.
I'm going to call you Michael. Michael tonight. You're going to be Michael tonight, baby.
Yeah, we're gonna go out, watch the fights, and dance a little bit.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about, because we always talk about communication and how we are so good at it and blah, blah, blah. And I wanted to bring up the little, situation that happened when we went out last week.
For our anniversary.
Okay. First off, we both forgot about our anniversary, as we mentioned on the previous podcast.
Yeah.
Neither one really took it personal, because it's just, we are bigger than that.
Yeah.
There are, some women and men that will take it personal, like, oh my God, you forgot our anniversary. Me, I was laughing about it. I was at an event, actually, the day of our anniversary. But, it's just like, I know you love me and vice versa. And we were okay with it when I came home. We laughed about it, talked about it, and then said we're going to.
No big deal.
Yeah, we're going to do, we'll go out and have some fun. Anyway, so we made that decision. We were going to go out. But I personally felt like just going out, listening to good music, and having a good time, whether it was at a bar, club, whatever, right? And I wasn't thinking about how you were feeling about the entire, event, like going out, whether you wanted it just to be you and I or us and others, since we're going to be in, West Phoenix, where a lot of our friends and family are. And I just made the decision that, I'm going to put it up on Facebook. Hey, Miguel and I are going out, to Westgate. Whoever wants to join.
Let's party.
Yes. And a couple, responded. And while I'm sharing this with Miguel, I noticed that his energy wasn't too excited about it.
Yeah.
Like you were like, and so I got a little bit kind of upset, just not thinking about how you were feeling about it. Yeah. Like I didn't ask you, would you like other people to join us, or is it just a you and I thing kind of deal? I took the initiative. I made the decision, and
maybe we need to go out more. Maybe that's what it is.
And before I know it, I'm kind of like upset, not really telling Miguel how I'm feeling, because I am an extrovert. I like to go out, and there's times where I just want it to be you and I. But this time around, I'm like, you want to party. We're out. We're a lot of, we know a lot of people, and I think it'd be fun to share our anniversary. But then I did not communicate that.
Yeah.
So then we go, and it's kind of early, because I was thinking we can have a couple of drinks, something little to eat, and just go bar hopping. But of course, like, I didn't talk to Miguel about this. So I'm creating the event in my head and how I want it and all that good stuff. And so we go to a bar and we're hanging out, having a good time.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, hey, let's go check out another bar. So we get up and we go to this other bar, and I'm feeling the music. Like, I'm good, because I'm like, I like all kinds of music. Like I do. Okay. I do. And people, I like people. And yeah, there wasn't a lot of people. It was kind of slow, but it was weird, because I'm like, I didn't care. I wanted to be with you, whether it was just us, just chilling. And, because I took down, once I realized that you weren't too happy about me inviting, I took down that post. I deleted it. I edited it, actually, and then just left it at that, because I realized that you wanted it to be just you and I.
Yeah.
So I take poor Miguel to this other bar, and it's early, you guys, and it's what was it? TGI Fridays?
No, Lola's. Something
no,
like
the second one.
Oh, it was a TGI I don't know. Fridays, it's like a slushy. It's a slushy thing,
because they sell slushies, and
it's a slushy bar.
Yeah, and they play good music. But then when we got there, I looked at Miguel, and Miguel wasn't fucking happy. He wasn't happy. He wasn't feeling it, and he didn't have to say anything, because I could feel his energy. I can see it on his face, no matter how much he was trying to pretend he was okay with it. And then I realized they don't have any beer here.
All they have is slushies.
And so I can tell that he wasn't feeling it. And it just, from that point on, it really just went downhill.
Yeah.
And I was upset about it. I was hurt about it. And I was thinking about my feelings. I was thinking about, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It wasn't about you for me at that time.
You were planning the whole event.
It was just
the night in your head.
It was, yeah.
Like you said.
And I knew later on, and, you know, as, you know, 2 hours from then, it would turn into a bar, you know, because I'd been there before with our niece.
Yes.
But
I didn't want to wait around for 2 hours for it to turn into a bar.
And I did. I'm like, we can chit chat, talk, have some drinks.
I think that's where the biggest miscommunication was. Like, I didn't mind like going out dancing, but I also didn't feel like being just out all fucking day. Like tonight, I told you already, I'm not fucking eating. We're eating a salad. We're not little kids anymore. I can't go to fucking Burger King and then go clubbing afterwards. So I'm gonna fall asleep.
Right.
So I'll have a salad and then I can have some drinks, you know, but I don't want to be out all night.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's it. You guys, like, I'm an extrovert and, you know, Miguel's an introvert, but he does go out with me. He does things with me. Either way, like, I decided to drive home and I was in my own head. You know, I told him I want to drive. He fell asleep on the drive home and I was dancing like I was at a club, just driving. And it just felt good just to kind of be there and kind of, you know, sit with it and let it out. And we really didn't talk. You know, I was upset. We didn't talk. And then when we came home, I decided that I was going to go skinny dipping.
Yeah.
And it felt so good. And I was just in my own, you know, just with me, thinking about everything. And still didn't talk to Miguel about anything. And you came in and I think you fell asleep. Like, that's how the night ended. We didn't,
pretty much.
There was no communicating. There was no, I'm sorry. There was none of that.
Yeah.
Because I realized that I had to look at the entire situation. I had to process where it went wrong, where the miscommunication went into place.
Well,
am I in my own feelings? Like, I had to self-reflect and you know, to really just look at the bigger picture of what was happening.
Well, let me explain to you too. Let me share with you how I saw this whole thing going. Because I know, like, we're gonna go out and celebrate our anniversary. So for one, like, yeah, we like having a good time, but I'm kind of thinking to myself, this is our anniversary, so maybe it should be just us two. And not like invite everybody over this, you know, when it's our anniversary. For another thing, for whatever, we're going to be over there, or somebody's having a thing and we all go and everybody shows up. Great. But then the other thing was, it's not like we were around here where it's close by. We're driving to a place that's like an hour away. Right. And we were leaving probably around 3 p.m.
Because we had to drop off our son. So.
Yeah. So already for somebody, I guess an introvert or somebody like me, like I already said, like, I don't want to be out all freaking night and then have
you didn't tell me that.
Well, this is what I'm thinking. But be out all night and then have an hour drive home after being out. You know what I mean? Like, and then we went out to the bars and we started eating. And for real, the music was good, but there was not one person that was dancing. I did not see one dance floor. Like you said, the places had not turned into nightclubs.
Right.
Because when the vibe changes, you start dancing a little bit and then maybe, you know, whatever, you hang out. But
I was dancing the entire time.
You were dancing in your seat. There was not one babe, you got to stop. Because it was freaking 7.
Yeah.
And the shit, everybody knows, you go out, nothing's happening
it's
at 7.
Happy hour at that time.
Yeah.
So
Everybody's
that's
sitting,
the environment.
sitting,
happy
eating,
hour.
and drinking.
Yes.
Sitting, eating, and drinking.
And there's music playing in the background.
Yes, but you're sitting, eating, and drinking. So that's the vibe. And we ate a good amount. We were having a couple drinks. Our energy, neither one of us, and you could be honest about that, because you had a coffee drink.
But I
all
don't
that
need
stuff.
that, baby. I don't need that. But I get it.
Babe,
yes.
But so, and then I was just kind of looking at the whole thing. It's like 8 o'clock, 8:30. And I'm like, nothing's really going to start happening, or we're not going to start dancing till like maybe 9:30, and that's a long time. I don't really like, I'm already fucking tired, but if we're going to go out dancing, I was like, let's just go, let's do it and just do that. And being around here makes it a lot, easier. We can just go and come right back instead of having an hour drive.
Yeah.
But we didn't talk about any of that shit that day.
No. And I don't even think, I think this is the first time we're actually talking about it.
Like actually talking about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I just didn't know how to bring it up without you getting overly excited. Because there's times where when I talk to you, it's just like, it just leads up to just a passionate conversation. And I'm like, you know what? It's not even worth it. Like, it's just not worth it. Therefore, I'm just going to let it pass. Like, I'm just not going to talk about it. And it is what it is. And I'm going to let it pass. Right. But I had time because you left out of town.
Yeah.
And you were gone for an entire week.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of time to think about the entire situation and what happened. And I realized that it was my lack of communication that started it. I mean, you all,
mine didn't help.
Right. But it was me, I was feeling it within, like, ooh, this is going to be good. Like, we're going to go out. We're going to have happy hour like we did like I would back in the day. Go early, have some drinks, eat. And then as the night goes on, they turn it into a dance floor. And I was ready to party all night. Like, I didn't mind waiting 2 hours for them to put, the dance floor together, the DJ to come. Like, I was waiting for it. I was just waiting for it. Not even taking into consideration how you were feeling.
Yeah.
And so when I realized that, I brought this upon myself because I set expectations up for the night without even talking to you about it. And so I apologize for that. And, I just thought that, we might as well talk about it on the podcast because we haven't talked about it.
No, we haven't. No, it's all good, babe. It's all good. And we're gonna go have fun tonight, and we'll have a good time.
See,
because the same thing is like when that happened, I think the reason that I would get so upset because sometimes when we're talking or when we're getting into these heated discussions, it almost seems like you can't even see how I would see it. Or like what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like, me. For one, that I don't like. Yeah, it's just say it's far. It's fucking far. And if we're going to be out all night, I don't want to be fucking driving an hour. I don't think that's crazy. You know what I mean? For some people, yeah, cool. But I don't want to be out till for one, I don't want to be leaving this side of town, my house. That's just me at 3 p.m. And I don't want to be coming home after driving an hour at 3 a.m. That sounds fucking exhausting. Now, if we go out dancing and we're just going out dancing, then that's it. That's cool.
So this is a challenge that Miguel and I went through a lot in the past because I was unaware of the difference between an extrovert and an introvert. Yeah. And normally when we go out, I am grateful that Miguel still takes me out because I know there's some that just will be like, you know what, go ahead and go out with your friends. Like, I'm cool with that. Go out with your friends. So, I appreciate that even though that is not your scene, right? That's not, something that you would say
I think so
from within and be excited about it. Hey, let's go party all night. Hold on, let me finish. And so I have learned to, when you do take me out and I notice your energy coming down after being out for 4 hours, because I will shut the bar down. I will open the bar and shut the bar down. And that's what I wanted to do on our anniversary. Yeah, I forgot who I was with.
I don't mind showing up at 9 and shutting it down.
Right.
But I don't want to be there at fucking 5 and shut it down.
So normally what I'll do is, when I can tell when it's time, or Miguel will tell me like, hey, I'm ready to go. Then I'm like, okay, cool. Before I used to get upset. Like I would get upset. Now it's like, okay, I get it. Like, let's go. It's time to go. But it's just that day I just was not, my communication was off. Everything was off. And, it happens. It doesn't matter how long you've been together. Miguel and I have been together for 14 years. There's going to be times where even though your relationship is in a good place, that you get triggered, or your communication is off, or you make a bad decision, and I think the most important thing is really owning up and apologizing. Yeah. Like really owning up and just saying, I'm sorry, like I fucked up. Because I know that if I would have talked to you about what I was planning, that we would have been able to be like,
plan it a little differently.
Oh yeah, like I would have,
we could have planned it so that it would have been good for both of us. We could have
prevented, all of this.
Well, actually, kind of like today when, like I was asking you earlier, because I was thinking about what happened last week, and I was kind of thinking to myself, like, there's fights that I want to watch tonight. There's some good fights on, and because of what happened, like this is something else that I was just gonna say. The whole introvert extrovert thing. People still don't understand that. And I still think that, like, I don't even know if you understand it completely still. Because everybody still says, like, it's like, oh, introverts don't like being around people. Introverts don't like speaking. Introverts, and it's like, no, that's not what it is. What it is that at a certain point, you're fucking drained and you need to get away.
Well, there's also a certain type, a different type of introvert.
Different types of introverts.
Yeah.
Yes, but
all introvert. Go ahead, sorry.
So, and that's not me. Like, I do like going out. I do like going dancing, but I just don't want to do it all day. And like you said, at a certain point, I want to leave. And so when the last week ended the way it ended, it was like that sucked, We didn't really get to celebrate our anniversary the way we wanted to. And I do want to take you out dancing because I know you've been wanting to go out dancing, and it's not like I don't like it or whatever. It's like, I like it. It's fun, especially when we go out together and we have a good time. Like we've talked about it on here. We have a blast together when we go out places. It just that day, like you said, it wasn't communicated properly. So today I was kind of thinking, let's kind of see how the day goes. So like we started out, it's like, well, you're making breakfast. I was working on the podcast a little bit. And then I'm like, well, what do we have going on today? So we can kind of record the podcast. We can maybe either check out the fights here and then go out, or we can find the place that's showing the fights. We'll have something light, and then we can just have fun, have some drinks, dance, whatever.
Yeah.
But we know how it's going to go from the beginning.
Right. So that's why it's so important to communicate.
Yeah.
And knowing how to communicate and knowing how to apologize when you're in the wrong. Those are all things that we've had to learn.
So you see,
and things that we still fall back on, you guys. Like seriously, like we don't got all this down. We slip up, we make mistakes, we have disagreements. I mean, here's another, here's something else that I wanted to share. Right. Here's something else. Oh. I know that I have mentioned. Do you have anything else you would like to say about that?
On that? No.
Okay. So as I mentioned, Miguel was gone all last week. And prior to this, I talked to you guys about my insecurities and how I found out that the reason I had these insecurities was because of my daddy issues that I had from, when I was a little girl. And when I realized this, I had to self-process and heal. And I'm here to share with you that even though you have self-processed, and this is something I just figured because I thought I was 100% healed. I thought that because you've been traveling for quite some time and I haven't been triggered, right?
No.
Like I haven't been triggered. Good. Yeah. Like, I think you call me instead of me calling you, right?
Like you said, this issue also, because last week ended the way it ended.
Right. And you left and we didn't get to.
Yeah. So go ahead.
So, Miguel's gone, and, Audrey is in softball, and, I have the kids, and just, it's me. It's me running the show. And I had left with Audrey, and I left Joey home. I mean, the school's maybe 3 minutes away, but I had left Joey home, and Joey doesn't have a phone. So my phone was about to die. You had sent me a text telling me that you were homesick.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then I had sent you a picture of Audrey, and I tried calling you shortly after, and you didn't answer.
Yeah.
And I needed you. Like, I needed you to call Joey so that I could stay, so I didn't have to leave. So I was and then I'm like, well, he'll probably call me right back, because that's what you do. And I still didn't get anything back. And normally you always answer my calls. And if you don't answer my calls, you'll send me a text. I'm at dinner, I'll call you back. I didn't get any of that. So then I called again, nothing. And then my phone died. So I'm like, crap. So I had to come home, check on Joey, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And when I realized, when I came home and I asked Joey if you called him, he said, no, I haven't talked to Dad. I was triggered, right? I started to get those negative thoughts, and then that created the emotion. And then the action went when I sent you a text like, hey, why aren't you answering my calls? Is that what I said? Hey, why aren't you answering my calls? Something like that. And I was just pissed now. I was just upset. I was pissed. And then I get home, my phone's charged, and then you and I are talking, and you are pissed because you're like, what am I, a child? Why are you treating me like a child? So you didn't even recognize
the situation.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know. I didn't.
I know, but normally if I question you like that, it's immediately a sign like, oh, it should.
Well, the thing is,
now you know.
Yeah, well, true.
Now you know.
It's kind of like, well, you were coming at me with aggression, and I responded with aggression without really trying to figure out what was going on.
Right. And so...
Because I didn't know what the hell was going on. I just thought I missed a call.
Right. You didn't know about the situation. So then, I'm in the shower, and I guess you call and you're talking to Joey, and I just really didn't want to talk to you. Like, I didn't want to talk to you. But I was in the shower anyways when you called me. And so it was easy enough just to ignore it. And then you ended up calling me back, and I'm like, Sonia, pick up the damn phone. Like, stop being a baby, and I pick up the phone and we chit chat, but I'm cold with you. I'm just very short. I'm like, yeah, whatever, I'll go to sleep, have a good night. I played it off.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 whatever. Right. You lectured me because that's what it felt like. And then we were off the phone. And so here I am. I'm like, we get off the phone, and that night I'm sitting in my feelings, right? I'm like, all right, girl, all these thoughts that you're having are not real, and you're creating all these different emotions. You're creating this, and there's no reason for it. Like, Miguel loves you. He's never given you a reason to distrust him. This is all you, girl. Like, I'm talking about, like, this is all you. So I'm sitting with this, and I realized, I'm like, damn, I thought I was healed. I thought I was over this. And normally if I am triggered, I can dismiss it, recognize it, dismiss it, let it go without it affecting me. But this time it did. And I think so because I needed you to do something for me. Like, I needed you to do something for me. And what if it was an emergency? So then again, there goes that again, so when I gave myself time to process it and really think about it, I realized again, like, I fucked up. Like, I'm doing so great this week. I'm fucking up.
Jeez.
You're
freaking beating yourself.
Like, I'm like,
beating yourself up.
Shit, And so I sent Miguel, a message, and I want to read it to you guys because it took me a while to really get to this place where I can hold, where I can look within and apologize and allow my ego and my pride to be put aside.
Yeah.
And take responsibility for my wrongdoings. And so it was at 9:05 the following morning, right? Once I self-processed, and I've been fasting the time he's gone and praying and all this other stuff too. And so I just wrote him, I'm like, I want to apologize to you for yesterday. I was going through one of my episodes after you sent me a text and I needed you to do something for me and you didn't answer after I called. It triggered me. Then when you told me you were out at a bar, I got upset because when we went out for our anniversary to a bar, it seemed like you didn't want to be there and the night didn't end well. That's what happens when you don't communicate. You don't talk about it and you try to forget about it. You shove it down. You're like, oh, it's really not that serious. I'm just going to not bring it up. We're going to be okay. It's never going to be okay, you guys. It's never going to be okay, because if him and I would have talked about it before he left out of town, that feeling wouldn't have festered, right? Because then when you told me that was another trigger for me. Like, oh, now he's at a bar, but he didn't want to hang out with me, but now he's hanging out with his friends, right? And so I recognize that as well, as I'm going through all of this, So I got upset because we went out, Okay, either way, I'm sorry. You don't deserve this. I appreciate all your hard work and all that you do for our family. I love you, and I'm sorry for upsetting you last night. I appreciate you and the amazing man you are. Have a good day. I love you. And you guys, while I'm writing this, I'm feeling like shit. Like, I'm just like, man.
Did you send it to me right after you wrote it?
I sent this to you right after. Like, you wrote it, sent it.
Yeah.
And I'm praying, please don't let him call me, because I'm just like bawling. Like, I'm bawling, I'm releasing, I'm like, okay, girl, you messed up, but you took action, you apologize, you're fine, like, you're okay. But I still had to detox.
Like, let it go. You still got it. You got to do the let it go part.
I still had to let it go. And then what happens? My phone starts to ring and I'm like, ugh, like, I didn't want to talk to him right now. I wanted to just let it all out because I'm not able. He calls me and I'm like I'm trying to hide it, but I'm not one to hide. I can't. I wear my emotions on my sleeve, and you call me and how do I, like, what are you thinking?
You can tell.
Can you tell?
No, well, so I was working. I was like in the middle of an audit, but I knew like I got your message and I knew everything that had happened. And
did everything make sense?
Yeah,
like,
everything was kind of, I knew that it wasn't just that I was out. I knew it had to do with also how, the last weekend ended. And at the end of the day, like, we love each other. Like, I don't want you being upset. I don't want you crying over that kind of stuff. We just want to be happy, move on, like, learn from it. And like, we'll figure it out just like we do with everything else. So I don't want this to like last forever. So I just wanted to talk to you real quick, Mm-hmm. And it wasn't. We talked for a little bit. Yeah. I was like, hey, I'm still auditing. Like, I gotta go. But
he didn't say that right away.
No.
He's like, babe.
I did. I think it was like 15 minutes later. But no, I'm just saying. But it was like I did. Like, I stopped because I did want to talk to you and make sure that that you were good.
Yeah.
And that we could just kind of like move forward.
Yeah. But this is what he said. Miguel has difficulties digging deep, but he was like, hey, babe, because the guys need to hear this. Like, hey, babe, it's okay. Like, we're good. Like, ladies, he reassured me, and I think that's important, that when you are going through these challenges in your marriage, that men, it's okay to share some emotion with your wife, to not be so rigid. And I know that that's something that society has placed on our men. And so it does make it tough when you're going through the situation. But Miguel was very soft and very passionate about what I was going through and what I was feeling, which in return made me feel at peace, because he understood what I was feeling and what I was going through, and he was empathizing with that. and I appreciate you, for that, because you weren't always that way. Miguel wasn't always that way. Yeah. You used to be cold.
I'd be cold.
You would.
But I don't want you feeling bad. I don't want this thing to last like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I want you to get over it too, so that we can be happy.
Right. And I think too, maybe on the next episode, if you can, and I know that you're going to have to think about this in order to remember. Are you giving me
homework or what?
Yes, I am. In order to remember is, how did you get to the point to where you are today, to where you can, what made you open up? What made you come to a point where you were okay with sharing your feelings and your emotions with me, and how did you soften those, those sharpened edge, or not sharpened, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's very important, because most men, they see it as a weakness.
Yeah.
Versus a strength when they're talking to their wife. I'm sorry, babe. I messed up, and I love you, and I appreciate us, and just that type of thing. Because it took you a while to get there.
I think that's.
But we can talk about that because I think that's an entire conversation, in itself. And I think that would help all my women, right? Women, that would help them, and it would help the men, your men. No.
Yeah. But no, I think it's different. Like, I don't see that as like a weakness. Like, to be able to just talk to you and communicate with you, that's not a weakness. Like, but I also don't think that you don't want a soft man.
No, I don't. Most women don't want a soft man.
Well, no, like, kind of like you talk about like your emotions and all that stuff like that. There's a slippery fucking slope. All right. And you may not want to, like, everybody wants men to be soft, and
no, I don't want my man to be soft. I want my man to be able to empathize with me and understand what I'm feeling, and recognize it.
But that's not a weakness. That's not
exactly.
I don't see that as a weakness,
right? But that's something you had to learn to do. Maybe it wasn't a weakness, but it was something that you had to learn to do.
But that's just communicating. But it's not like I'm running around crying all the time.
No,
like, I do feel things, and we work stuff out.
I'm not saying that you cry. You're taking it the wrong way. There's a miscommunication right here, right now. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that.
But you're saying like opening up. I'm saying it's learning how to communicate.
Okay.
That's what it is. You get older and you see how things are. It's like, oh,
damn,
shit.
You have to get old in order?
Probably. You get fucking married and you've been around for a long time. Like, you go through shit. You get into fucking fights that suck, that last for fucking days. And then you eventually fucking figure out that you fucked up, that I fucked up. You figure it out. And it's like, hey, I should have did something a little bit different.
Yeah.
Like, oh, maybe if I reassure her, this thing doesn't turn into a fucking disaster. Maybe if I kept my mouth shut, maybe if I didn't say that, you learn these fucking things. Yeah. It takes time.
It's funny we're talking about this because yesterday Miguel and we were watching a Bill Burr.
I think it's live at the Red Rocks. It's on Netflix.
You guys got to watch it. Towards the end, he talks about, because Bill Burr is one of those men, oh my God, that most women want to strangle because he's such like a manly man. And you were kind of like that at the beginning, just very rigid, very cold, like, right? And I guess maybe it is. And I think he even mentioned once he got older, like he started to recognize some things and, being in love with his wife and, having his kids and, and he shares that he recognized that he had some shit to go through, but he realized that there was a lot of things that happened to him as a child
that are affecting him today.
Exactly. That he needs to heal from, because he sees that it's affecting his little girl.
Yeah.
And so, his little girl, it was or is that what?
It's like that
identifying, like she's the one who made him self-reflect. I almost bit my tongue and realized that something has to change.
So, I mean, if you listen to Bill Burr, if you know him, he has a temper, which I can relate to. And he said that one time he was flipping out and his daughter walked in like, "I sorry, daddy. I sorry," because she thought that he was flipping out because she did something wrong.
Right.
And she's a 2-year-old. And, he might be angry and all that other shit, but at the end of the day, that's his little baby. You know, so he felt horrible about flipping out. You know,
because it had nothing to do with her.
It had nothing to do with her. He's like, no, come here, buddy, come here. I'm so sorry. You know, he gives her a hug and a kiss and everything. But she now is like his reminder. Yes. Or when he flips out, because the way he explained it to her is like, I wasn't mad at you. I wasn't mad at you. I was mad at the phone. Daddy was mad at the phone or something happened.
Right.
And he's like, but Daddy shouldn't do that or something. So now she tells him, it's going to be okay, Daddy. Aww, and he's like, you're right, buddy.
Very gentle.
You're right.
But here's something else, women.
It's great. Check it out.
This is something else, okay? Because this is what we're talking about today. He had mentioned that he knew he fucked up. Like he was feeling so bad because he realized that his anger and his temper
was affecting his family.
His daughter. His daughter. And so he's like, I just needed to get myself together. So he went into his room and his wife heard everything that happened. All right. Yeah. And I can understand this because this is something I've done on multiple occasions. So this poor man's already beating himself up because of what happened. And he's thinking about some things, right? Like he's processing what happened. And he's laying on his bed. And all of a sudden, his wife, who is freaking heated because she realized that her baby girl's feelings were hurt. And she heard him yelling at the top of his lungs, throwing shit around. And so she is about to go do some shit. Right. But she also walks in.
But she also wasn't there and didn't see what he did and what he was going through.
Yes. And she didn't ask any questions. She just went in there like, what's your problem? Like she went in there very angry, very upset.
No, he was like, you want to explain what happened downstairs? You know, pretty much. He's like, oh, fuck.
You know, so he's beating himself up already. And then his angry wife, and she has every reason to be upset. And he's saying all this. And he's saying this, right? But she doesn't know what's going on in his head, any of that. And she just goes at him, which builds even more on top of what he's already feeling.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where us women really have to take some time and ask questions like, hey, you know, what was going on? Like we have to slow down and rethink. I mean, just.
You know what that is? That's what happened when you came at me when I was at the bar. Because you came at me and something was happening. And instead of me like trying to find out like, why are you acting this way? You know, and reassuring you and trying to help you out. I came back with aggression too.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of, maybe not exactly, but it's similar.
No, it is similar. And yes. And so anyways, you know, it's like in the heat of the moment, take a step back. And I know at times it's harder. It's easier said than done. I mean, you just heard me. I jacked up. I did it. But it's just taking the time before you explode to really just gather yourself, but also ask questions. Ask questions, because if they're already feeling bad and having to process what just happened, and then you go and you make it worse, it doesn't help.
Yeah.
You know, but it's also being aware and being present with each other and knowing, you know, what each other, like what you're going through during that time. You know, and that's forever, you guys. That's something that you will forever have to do. It's not like, I mean, maybe, I don't know. We've only been married for 14 years. Maybe if you talk to somebody that's been together for 30 years or 50 years, they're like, oh no, baby. Hey, it's going to get a lot easier and you'll never have to because you're going to be so connected.
We'll see.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying from right now, 14 years later, we're still, you know, having to be present, to be aware. And there's going to be times where you jack up and you just have to take responsibility for your jack ups, you know, for your mess ups.
That's right.
You know,
there's something that I wanted to talk about. There was it's kind of not really related, but when I was away, I went to Chicago for work. And we stayed at this place where they have like a happy hour downstairs or whatever. So we went downstairs and we're having a couple drinks, and there's certain things that when you see them, they make you smile. Like it doesn't matter what it is. Usually whenever you see it, it makes you smile. Almost like a puppy or something like that, right? But before we get into that, make sure you guys go to oppositesattractpodcast.com. Damn, we're doing it late because we've been going. Make sure you go to our website, share it with the people that you know. When you guys go there, you can follow our podcast there. You can listen to it there. You can watch it there. And you can see ways that you can support the show. And if you click on the support the show link, if you're on the phone and you hit the menu button, you'll see the support the show link. You'll see a link to Amazon, our Amazon link. Anything that you purchase on Amazon, put it in your cart. When you go to our website, click on that link and then just check out, and it'll help out our show. We get a little kickback whenever you guys buy something. And it really helps us out. It helps us get the equipment and do all the things that we want to do, and helps us grow. And also you'll see a link to Trust Inc. there. And Trust Inc. is?
We are a nationwide mobile notary and signing agency. So if you are in the process of selling, purchasing, or refinancing, you can request Trust Inc. to be your signing agency. And I want to give a shout out to Robert Morales with our CEO Network, who is also a real estate agent. And I just received an email from Great American Title stating that he had requested us to be his preferred notary agency. So Robert Morales, thank you so much for your love and your support. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. And if you guys are buying a house or whatever and you guys want to use us, you can go to Trust Inc. directly by going to trustinkusa.com.
Yes.
And we're also affiliates with Pinwheel, which is the best smartphone available out there for kids. It has GPS tracking, so you can see exactly where your kids are at all the time, which, like we talked about a couple episodes ago, our daughter went out to New York for the first time, her first trip away from her parents for like an extended period of time. Now that she's a little bit older, she went and visited my mom, but now when kids get older, you get a little bit more nervous. But we were able to see where she was at all the time. It also has text message logs, call logs. You have to approve the contacts. You approve all the apps that get installed on the phone. And the apps that are available are all apps that help kids out.
Yes. And if you would like 10% off of a Pinwheel phone, you can go to
pinwheel.com and use promo code OAPTEN, all together, all in caps. And you can learn more about the phone there too. Also, buy me a coffee.
Yes. If you would like to buy us a couple of shots
or
a coffee, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/opposite pod.
Yep. And thank you, Ian and Kelly from superstitionspice.com. Superstitionspices.com. Make sure you guys go check it out. I've used, if you want a little, I've been using the habanero heat more. Like if I want a little spice, you got to be selective with the other one. That one is hot. But check them out. They're supportive of us. And thank you guys for the shot. We really appreciate it.
Yes. So Miguel.
So what I was saying was that there's these things, right? That when you see them, you can't like help but smile. But we were down there. I was hanging out with the guys from work, and we're having a couple drinks, and I just see this old couple, just like a little old, like an old guy, and he's kind of hunched over, and he's holding his wife's hand.
Aww.
And he's like walking in front of her, kind of like helping her. She's got like her cane, and they're just kind of like, and it was like, that's cool. Like you could just see, like you could just see like they've been around, like they've been together for a long time. You can just kind of tell.
I love that. I love it. You know what I mean? Yes.
And it was one of those things. And then when I was checking out of the hotel, I'm standing in the line, and there's this lady standing behind me, and there's a little girl. She must have been like maybe 2, because she could walk pretty good.
Yeah.
But I don't think she was talking that much. But anyway, she was just over there. She had this little backpack on, tiny little thing, and she's super cute. And all of a sudden, she like looks over and she smiles.
Aww.
And it's like, what do you do? It's like, oh, look at the baby. She's so cute. But then at the same time, it's one of those things like living in the world today. We were just talking about Bill Burr, right? Mm-hmm. And Bill Burr's got this bit about what it's like out there, or at least what it feels like. Or maybe it's to certain people. Maybe I just relate to a lot of the shit that he talks about. But I almost kind of, with all the bad shit that happens with kids, it's almost like I don't want to even say anything. He's like, oh yeah, a cute baby. Like I notice it. Maybe I shouldn't say anything because she's gonna be like, fucking creep. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if people think that way.
I don't think that's,
But I'm just like, you know, when I was just like, fuck it. I just turned around. I was like, it's hard not to smile when you see a baby smile. She was like, yeah. I was like, you have a beautiful daughter.
Yeah.
And she's like, thanks. And I just, whatever. But it's just weird having that thought or that feeling.
That is something that you created. You
I don't know. Or maybe it's the media. Everybody's fucking catching pedophiles everywhere. And it's like, well, when you see, like, if I'm standing with you and we see a baby, that's different. Like, you can see, like, we have kids, we're married, there's a baby. When you just see a fucking dude standing there, hey, get away from my fucking baby. You know what I mean? I don't know. Dude, I mean, yeah.
I love when I hear a baby laugh. Like, their laugh when they're little. When we go and we, Facebook, they'll play, memories from years ago, and, listening to Joey's laugh or Audrey's laugh or just a baby in general. It just, man, it makes my heart so happy. But no, that's funny. You brought that up because I mean, I can see that. I can see, but me personally, like if there was someone, who was like, oh, your little girl's cute. And if it was a guy, oh, it wouldn't faze me. Like I am not that way.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sure there are some women that are uptight that would be like, dude, get away, stop looking at my daughter kind of deal. But I think it's something that you created within yourself. Like if you feel that way, are you thirsty? Someone buy Miguel a Zip Fizz.
I can get my electrolytes so that we can go out and party.
If you're not watching this podcast, you need to watch it. I'm like, you can have some of mine if you like. No.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
I don't think maybe it's just today with everything that you see out there and the way people are. I don't know.
Yeah. So how much time do we have? From speaking on the previous episode, I'm sure you guys you all know that, I am on a journey and, I'm going to become a marriage consultant or couples consultant. And I'm so excited about it. I have been really just engulfed with just reading and just geeking out on just how the mind works and, just different books. But there's this one book in particular that I'm reading right now, and it's called The Ultimate Coach by Amy Hardison. And this
you guys can pick it up on Amazon and go through our link.
Yes.
It'll help us out.
And this book is the coach who I hired requested. He's like, before you and I meet, I need you to read this book.
Yeah.
It's 400 pages. I need you to read this book, finish this book, watch this 2-hour video. And it's basically preparing me
to start the coaching program.
And all the lessons within that one book has helped me in so many ways. And Steve Hardison, it's very hard to explain who he is and what he does.
Yeah.
When we always talk about our animals and why we love them and how they are, like they are unconditional love.
Yeah.
Like a dog is unconditional love. They love the way we should love.
Yeah.
Without judgment, without conditions.
You make mistakes, they still love you.
Right. And that's how he loves as a human. And it's so amazing. And just reading, because this book, he doesn't do any courses. He doesn't, sell anything. This book, he did not write. His wife, I thought it was his daughter, but it was his wife who wrote this book about her husband. And in the book, they interview like all his clients that he has coached, and they share all their experiences and lessons that they've learned. And he was interviewing one of his clients, and she was talking about her success and how it doesn't matter how much money she makes that she's never happy and that she grew up with no money. You know, like she grew up in poverty.
Yeah.
And he was listening to her. And after listening to her, he looked at her and told her, you don't have to choose. You don't have to choose between being a good person and being wealthy. You can be both.
Yeah.
And when he said that, it resonated with me so much because I remember when Trust Inc., when it was booming and I made the most I've ever made in a business.
Yeah.
I had a sense of guilt. I haven't told you that, right?
Yeah.
Because the world was, you know, like
going
it was
during
through
the
so
pandemic.
much.
It was the pandemic like helped the business.
Yeah. Yes. But there was a feeling of guilt. And
well, because I think you were also seeing how hard other people had it and how like just the difference, like that the business was kicking ass.
And you always hear some people that don't have much talking ill about those that do. And I remember I was visiting my mom recently, and my Uncle Tom has always been very successful, owning businesses and always working, right? Just always working. Of course, because you have a business, so you have to work in order for this business to thrive. And I just remember the conversations about him.
And a lot of people don't understand the hustle of a business, somebody that owns a business, because they just don't do it.
Right.
They don't understand that it's not 9 to 5. Like work is not done. Sometimes you just got to take care of shit.
Right.
And it takes all day, every day.
And so I was talking to him, and I never really got to know my Uncle Tom because he's one of the oldest, and there's 13 kids, by the way.
Yeah.
So I had this time to talk to him and really talk to him. And you can tell like he was passionate and that he loved what he did in his business.
Yeah.
But he shared with me, because I was asking him, like, what are some of the challenges? What are the things that you regret and blah, 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 blah. And he was sharing with me some of this, you know, some situations that happened where family took advantage of the situation.
Yeah.
You know, and it just like broke my heart. But that's something that's common. You know, it's like, you know, you have to pay attention to the people that are not clapping when you're winning.
I think it's a mentality. It's an attitude. Like instead of like I've never looked at somebody's success, and I was just talking to one of the guys at work. Like I've never looked at anybody's success and been like, where's my part? It's like, can you show me how? Mm-hmm. Like, yes. I don't need you to do it. And no, I don't want you doing it for me either.
Right.
Just, if you can just help me to show me, I'll do it myself. You know what I mean? And I'm happy that you're doing it, because at least now I have somebody that I can learn from. And I'm happy for you for that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's always kind of the way I've seen it. I mean, maybe that's just the entrepreneur mentality.
Yes.
You know, when you see, like, you understand that it's not a piece of the pie. There's fucking pies everywhere. You can make your own fucking pie.
Right.
And you can have it all.
Right.
But nobody's going to hand you anything. And I think that's the mentality, is when you expect, when you feel entitled to something that's not yours.
Right.
You didn't earn it.
You know, and just, you know, just the feedback that you get from those around you. And it's sad that normally it is people that are close to you, right? Yeah. Family members, friends, sometimes even it's a significant other, you know, that's not supporting you in what it is, you know, that you're doing. And I hear those conversations like, oh, she thinks she's too good, or, you know, she doesn't come around because, you know, she's so busy, you know, trying to get rich or trying, you know, and I've allowed that I allowed those seeds to be planted.
Yeah.
And I feel that may be the reason why I tend to sabotage my success, because I've noticed that, like, I'll reach a certain point and then I go back.
Hmm.
You know, and that is something that why I hired a coach as well, is because I want to be free from any and all. I can't say be free. Well, from triggers, right? So that when I'm sitting with clients, I am free.
Yeah.
You know, that I am free, and going through everything that we have gone through in our relationship and in life, and just enhancing our marriage and the self-processing and the self-healing. I know that as a marriage consultant, I'm so excited about it because I know that this is where I'm supposed to be, you know, like my walk, my journey, my path. And I have all these books that I'm going to read, because it's not just about coaching. It's really about being extraordinary, like being an expert in your craft.
Yeah.
You know, breathe it, read it, be about it, live it.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what is going to make me so different than everyone else, and having the, you know, the intuition and the, and being so, having empathy for others is a huge thing, is being able to relate to the people that are sitting, you know, in front of me. And I've been asked, well, is Miguel going to join you? I cannot answer that question, but maybe in time. I don't know. I don't want to put that pressure on you.
Well, I don't know.
But
one thing I do want to say is I feel like, not I feel like, but I can see what you're doing, you know, and you've already been going through this process for a little bit now, because you started first. This is now your second coach that you hired, because you have another coach that you started first, and you've already been on that one. You know, you did the course. Now you're getting things going with that coach, with what you're doing there. And now you have your own personal coach, which is, it's different. They're two different coaches.
Right.
But you're on your way.
Right.
You know? And I think it's true. Like, you can't not be on your way. Like, I can't not be if you're going to be. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It just it can't happen. So I've been kind of maintaining, like, it's really what I've been doing for a while. Just kind of maintaining, and like, I'm busy, but I'm not working and doing things to my fullest potential that I know I'm capable of. And I've told you that, and I know sometimes you say, like, well, you're still this and that, and it's bullshit. Because I know, when you know what you're capable of, you know that you're not living up to it. That's just what it is, you know, and it's been that way for a while. Yeah. And seeing you going on the path and doing what you have to do, it's like, yeah, I gotta do it. You know, I need to get on it. And I feel it also for myself. Like, it's time. It's been too long. And
Are you talking about health? Or are you talking about everything?
I'm talking about everything.
I'm
talking about everything. It has to do with health. It's with, you know, because it's weird, because it's almost like the health comes first before all the other stuff.
Yes, I agree with you.
You can't really get started on, like, you know what? I'm going to focus on being a better this, being a better parent, being a better husband, being, really working hard. Like, when you go to bed at night, you feel like you're accomplished. Mm-hmm. And I haven't felt that in a while, you know,
Gotcha.
Because I'm not living up to my potential. You know what I mean?
No, I get it.
And that's with everything. It doesn't have to do with just health. It's life.
Yes. And so before I started all of this, I knew that part of my success is me feeling strong, me feeling healthy, you know, me getting back into my routine of going to the gym. Even when you were gone, like, I was fasting, And I was doing that to release because we cheated that Sunday, I think. Yeah. And I didn't feel good. My body didn't feel good. I could feel what the sugar was doing to me, what the carbs were doing to me. And I knew that I needed to detox, but I also like to meditate, like when you're gone, because I have a quiet house, first of all. Yeah. And not only that, but I needed clarity. There was something especially with the coaching and everything that I'm doing. And when I need full clarity, I fast. It's a spiritual fast. And so it's so weird what fasting does to you, but it does help you connect to a deeper self, and things do become more clear in that. I can't explain it. But either way, I got on my routine, and even when you were gone, like I was going to the class. Yeah. And even when I didn't, because the kids started going to school, I was still waking up at 5:30. Yeah. I was still reading my book. I was still meditating. I was still doing what I had to do, because I know for myself personally, it's exactly what you said. Health comes first for me. Yeah. In order for me to thrive, I have to feel healthy. I have to feel, whole. And that's what makes me feel whole, is knowing that I am healthy. Because in order for me to make a difference in other people's life, I have to take care of number one. In order to take care of my family, I have to take care of number one. And it took me a long time to be able to say that without feeling guilty. Yeah. Right? Because that's not what they teach you. What they teach you is, as women, is like, we take care of everybody before we take care of ourselves. Well, how are you going to do that if you are not taking care of self? Right? If your body and your mind and your spirit are not aligned, there's going to be so much imbalance in your life. Yeah. And then you're trying to figure out why you're not feeling your best. It's like you got to start with that first.
It's like when they say on the airplane.
Oh, yes.
When the masks come down.
Yes.
When there's low oxygen and the masks come down.
Yes.
They tell you, put your mask on first, and then you can help the person next to you. If they're having trouble with their mask.
That's right.
But the first thing you have to do is put your mask on.
Right.
Because if you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be able to take care of anybody else.
Yep. And don't allow anyone to make you feel guilty for that. Yeah. Because that's something that affected me, because I was always like a people pleaser, right? Yeah. Always. And, some things I still need to work on, because, I want to help the world. I can't help the world. I can help that one person who wants the help, right? Yeah. I can help that one person that wants the help. But, taking care of self is very important. Don't allow someone to make you feel guilty because you're taking care of you.
Yeah. That's awesome, babe.
Thanks, babe.
And with that, make sure you guys go to oppositesattractpodcast.com, share it with the people that you know. Thank you guys all. Thank you for listening. Make sure, like we said before, if you guys are watching it, wherever you're watching this, wherever you're listening to this, if you have the ability to give us a thumbs up, give us a review, a comment, whatever, it all helps.
Sharing's caring.
Thank you so much.
Don't forget to share it. Yep. Yes. So thank you guys for your love. Thank you for your support. And again, thank you for watching Opposites Attract Podcast,
where we get better
together. Bye.